Hey there, guys. I just wanted to talk about citations and using them in 5 effective ways of using citations in science writing. So say you're writing a paper like this one on pollinators and green roofs. You're interested in how green roofs in cities might attract pollinators. So you start off and you write a statement like green roofs are good for pollinators. Well, if you do that, your instructor, your professor, is likely to put a comment or say to you something like, citation needed, because this is a definitive statement. So we know when we use citations and when we make definitive statements in our paper, we actually need to have a citation here to show that it's not just our own thought, but it's actually something that's supported by the literature. So the next step is to, of course, find a paper that makes this claim or a similar claim to it. So a lot of people use Google Scholar. I'm just going to go there to start. There are other databases you could use. But if you go into Google Scholar and you type in green roofs and pollinators, let's see what we get. So we get right here, can green roofs provide habitat for urban bees? So right there is one article we could potentially cite. Also, we could choose, because this one is from 2009, so we could choose, from 2016 and see if we get some more recent studies. So here's actually one that looks kind of interesting. Habitat connectivity and local conditions shape taxonomic and functional diversity of arthropods on green roofs. So it's quite a mouthful. But it looks like even though it's on arthropods, there might be something in there about pollinators. So let's click on it. And it's going to take us to the British Ecological Society. And they publish a journal called the Journal of Animal Ecology. You can see the title here, the authors, and then you're going to get a summary. If you want to read the full article, however, it's going to ask you to pay money. Unless, of course, you go in through Miami University. So let's do that. I'm going to click here. I'm going to go to Miami University Library. And then I generally will click on eJournal titles just to see if we have the journal I'm looking for. Journal of Animal Ecology. There it is. Let's search. And sure enough, there it is coming up right here. But let's see what databases we have this journal in. Okay, there we go. So the first one is JSTOR, Arts and Sciences Archive Collection. And it says that we have it from 1932 to present, but there's a full text delay of 6 years. So because this journal was published in 2017, if I click this, it's not going to have the article. But if I scan down here to some other databases, I see that there's OhioLink Electronic Journal Center, which has it from 1998 to present. So let's click on that. And while that's loading, I'm just going to go back here and look for the volume number. You can see it's 86 and it's issue 3 in Journal of Ecology from 2017. So let's go back here. Here we see volume 86. There's issue 3. Let's click on it. And it's loading the papers there. I'm going to scroll down until I find the paper. There it is right there. Habitat, connectivity, and local conditions on green roofs. I'm going to click on full text. And just like that, it's going to load. And I will have the full text PDF. In just a second. There we go. So now I can read the entire article, which you should always do. Certainly some of the stats in some of these scientific articles can be a little bit pithy if you're not used to it. So you can maybe skim over that as you're learning, depending on what stage you're at. But you are going to want to read the discussion. You're going to want to look at the graphs, make sense of the full picture of this story. So once you've done that, save this to your desktop or saved it to a folder so you can refer to it later. Go back to your writing, and maybe actually at this point, because that article, I've already looked at it, and that article actually doesn't say green roofs are good for pollinators. It actually has a more nuanced statement, which is that although pollinators and other arthropods use green roofs, ground level habitats often have higher diversity. Because that's one of the findings of this article when you actually read it. And so just by reading it, you have gotten a better sense of the literature and what's going on with green roofs and arthropods based on this one study. But now you need to cite it. So the next step is an easy way to cite this. You could go here, you could look at it, the author names, and try and type this all in manually. But there's a quicker way in Google Docs, which is to use an add-on, which is called PaperPile. And you can just manage your add-ons at the top of the Google Docs, and you will be able to add this in. And if you then search for the title, and you can actually see in mine it's showing because I already checked this out, but if you research it, you would see the article there. You can click Cite, and look at that. It's actually added the citation into the paper. So this is really handy because the next step you'll be able to do is add an entire bibliography in alphabetical order directly into your paper. No matter how many citations you add, you won't have to manually be altering citations and things like that. One other thing I wanted to point out is that sometimes people will write in what's called non-integral citation style versus integral citation style. Integral citation style is when you put the author's name first. So you might say, Bracker et al., 2017, contend that green roofs, whatever, right? So it's called integral citation style because the author's name is integral and is at the start of the sentence. But in science writing, we typically are going to use non-integral citation style, where you're actually going to put the citation at the end. There are exceptions, of course, where you might do it the other way, but this is just something to consider as a standard because it keeps the focus of the reader on your ideas, even though you're using the citation to back it up. All right, and the last thing I want to show you is updating your citations and bibliography. It's never been easier. You can use something like PaperPile, you can use Zotero, Mendeley, EndNoteWeb, whatever you want to use, but definitely don't do this all manually, especially if you're starting out your graduate career. You want to start early with one of these softwares, manage all your papers in a folder on your desktop or somewhere, make sure you're reading them, and then when you're ready, you can click Update your citation, your bibliography, and it will handle that for you. You will still want to double check it, but it's going to make things a lot easier. There's the APA citation for that paper right at the bottom. So that's it. I hope this is useful, and talk to you later.